our founder, Blessed James Alberian, he started the Pauline family in 1914, way before Vatican II, and was saying the church must use these technologies as they come, as they develop. So not just one technology, every technology. And now AI is the newest technology. So I believe the intersection is that it's just another technology, another form of communicating, another form of, although much more advanced form of media development. But the church must use this to be able to communicate the gospel and say that nothing is off the table for using, for the church to use it as an evangelizing tool. It's a tool. It doesn't replace the human person interacting with another human person, inviting them into the church or inviting them to our OCIA or inviting them to come to Eucharistic adoration. That's still key. The human person will always be key.
Sister, one of the things that I wanted to talk with you about during this conversation was the idea of equity and AI equity in particular. And the optimists in the AI age, and I do want to say I'm an optimist. I think that there's a lot of really good potential. They say, well, great, AI, embodied AI with robotics, in theory, we could have an era of abundance. But I already see a lot of the social tensions that we have today of the haves and the have-nots, and that divide, which seems already quite large, and a lot of people are hurting and suffering. How do we make sure that when AI maybe does produce these incredible benefits, that all those benefits, all that power, all that importance and control don't fall into the hands of those who are building the AI, which ultimately are just very, very few people?
Yes. Well, the builders of AI, I mean, their focus is about making money. It is not necessarily ethics. That's first and foremost in their mind. So and the understanding of the human person and the respect of the human dignity. I think when it comes to AI creators, I think the church needs to be that voice, that ethical voice, always challenging the secular world.
Mm-hmm.
But even in the Catholic world of AI development, we've got to realize we have to reach the people in the pews. And it cannot just be, okay, we create these platforms and we get it out there and we're developing things. How is this affecting people's everyday life in the faith? Like, how can it? And I think, and there is already this kind of divide with those who jump on everything that's new in technology and those who don't. It's partly, generational, but I'm actually meeting a lot of 20-somethings who are saying, enough is enough. Like, I'm pulling away from this. And I'm surprised because, and they're doing it intentionally, though. They're not doing it just to say, I don't want anything to do with technology, but they're realizing what it is doing to them, to their relationships, to how they engage with their faith. And so I think there's a balance in everything. We have to find that balance. And we have to always by bringing the human person first and foremost into the picture, it's going to help us reflect more about that. The equity, first of all, between, a lot of AI development is in the Western world. And, what about the rest of the world? Are they going to have access? I mean, that's a big question. And already there's a divide happening because of the expense of AI. But that's the church's role, is to keep questioning, how do we make this available to everyone equitably? And that's, I think it's a challenge right now because in its initial developments, it's not going that direction.
And sister, on that point, who currently is benefiting from the AI development in your mind? Is it only, let's say, those few labs in Silicon Valley and in parts of the rest of the world, or are the average people in the pews, the average students, actually seeing some benefits?
Well, I think it is trickling down now because there are a number of AI platforms that are free, or you could use it free up to a certain point, right? So in that sense, everyone can have some access. But, there's a limit to that as far as you can go. And I think you'll have to have funds to continue using AI to create and to develop. Obviously, Silicon Valley is all about money and power. I mean, that's just how they are created. They're a business. They're capitalists, right? And they're there to make money. They're there to kind of all rush to get the newest and the greatest and keep that going. But to what end is the question? And I feel like that's what we have to constantly be asking. To what end? I think a lot of people are jumping on AI. I mean, I know a lot of people who are. I help a lot of people to think about it in a positive way, to use it in even the simple apps, in your everyday life. But where is it going? I don't know. I don't have that answer. I just help people to constantly ask the questions. Is this helping me? Why am I using it? To be more intentional about it and to ask really deep and profound questions rather than just jump on it for no reason.
And sister, how are you and your congregation, on a practical level, using AI and these new technologies for your mission and for your work?
Well, as a media literacy educator, I find I love Magisterium AI because this is a little plug because ChatGPT can give you just about anything you want to put in there and it gives you, I don't know what back, but you have no source. You have no, the copyrights, like who said that? And actually it gave me really wrong answers about something Pope Francis said. So I was like, I don't rely on that. Let's go to Magisterium AI. Guess what? You'll get the footnote to the actual text. And that's extremely helpful for anybody who does research in the church. I mean, I finished my dissertation and Magisterium AI helped me in the last leg of it because it was developing as I was in grad school. But I got to say, it's phenomenal in that use that it can help you research something that you wouldn't know where to go. It's helped me crafted, outlines for talks. I get a lot of presentations and sometimes you only have like a day in between and, I need the next idea. It doesn't take away from the creativity because I still have to develop the talk, but it might just give me that spark of an idea. It can eliminate a lot of the administrative work that we've been doing and help us to kind of, focus on crafting the media and crafting the story as opposed to the technological developments. So that's how we're starting to use it. We're using it, but I think we're creating an AI committee, I guess, internationally as Daughters of St. Paul to really talk about this and see how it can be further developed for our mission and how we can collaborate with the AI developers to advance the gospel in our mission of evangelization. And I really think that there is going to be some creative ideas that are going to come out of this forum for us to be able to work and people who we can work with. I've already met some amazing people. So
yeah. But where else do you see these vector points of intersection coming through? Like where else do you think that technologists and the church can, on a practical level, really synergize, really meet each other and really collaborate in meaningful ways?
Well, I think a lot of it comes through the church's evangelizing mission. I mean, to be able to communicate the gospel, we use all technological means. We use means of communication, though it's taken the church many decades to kind of get on to what Inter Mirifica talked about in Vatican II, about hey, let's take on these means. Let's use this as the opportunity for communicating the gospel. And then, of course, Paul VI, Evangelii Nunciandi, pushed the church in that direction, saying, we got to use the media. Our founder, Blessed James Alberione, he started the Pauline family in 1914, way before Vatican II, and was saying the church must use these technologies as they come, as they develop. So not just one technology, every technology. And now AI is the newest technology. So I believe the intersection is that it's just another technology, another form of communicating, another form of, although much more advanced form of media development. But the church must use this to be able to communicate the gospel and say that nothing is off the table for using for the church to use it as an evangelizing tool. It's a tool. It doesn't replace the human person interacting with another human person, inviting them into the church or inviting them to our OCIA or inviting them to come to Eucharistic adoration. That's still key. The human person will always be key in that interaction of evangelization, right, in that moment. But these means can be tools side by side working with the human person in bringing the message of the gospel to the world. So I feel like, evangelization is key. Catechesis will be another form, a way of using these tools to catechize people. I'm a media educator, and I developed a media mindfulness catechesis model that incorporates AI within that within the faith formation process. You can't eliminate. We live in a world that is a digital media world, and we can't separate our faith from it. It has to become integral to it. So we need to bring the media, not just use media in catechesis, but the whole secular media culture into our media and catechetical formation. If we don't, then faith and life are still going to be separated. We have to help integrate it. That's what catechesis is. Integrate faith with your everyday life. Well, our everyday life is a digital world, now an AI world.
What would AI look like if, Catholic principles were very much integrated?
Well, I think it's going to be, looking that far ahead is a challenge, because by the moment of the second of every day, something new is developed in the world of AI. But I would say that it has to keep the human person always central. Like it's supportive of human development and not like taking over human, the beauty and the gift of the human person, such as in human creativity. I see it working side by side. I really do. If we get it right, it's going to be where AI and human ingenuity are working together. Where it takes over maybe some of those mundane, works that we've been trying to do. And I mean, you think about this in like the 1950s when you had human computers at NASA. Remember that story of Hidden Figures, right? You had all those women who were the human computer. Well, now we don't need those people, but it doesn't mean it's eliminated those jobs, but there's going to be new jobs. It's going to create new ways of interacting and communicating and developing. So I feel like if we help to keep it side by side instead of overpowering, we're going to see new flourishing, I think. And I see a positive view of it. I know the Hollywood world sees it very dystopian perspective, and I love all those movies. My favorite movie is Ex Machina. I just think it's awesome. But,
it's amazing.
But that's really scary and creepy, right? And yeah, we see even some things like Her coming to reality, where somebody falls in love with their AI, and there are AI, chatbots that people are falling in love with and having relationships and getting married to, or even that necklace, the friend necklace. And you're like, just talk to your AI at any moment, even when you're interacting with somebody else. I'm like, okay, that's skewed. We got to work this out. This is not the best use of AI. So we have to be that voice. The church must be that voice to challenge, always to keep the human person central. So if we're loud enough, and honestly, I think we are. And I think that, the church, people who are not Catholic are turning to the Catholic Church for an answer, what to do. I've heard people say that to me. So what does the Catholic Church say about this? So I said, yeah, we do have something to say. And we've been saying it. So maybe we can guide it is my hope.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Well, Sister Nancy, thank you so much for your time and for all the work that you do.
Well, thank you. God bless you. Appreciate it.